Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 27th of December for the Sun or the Ascendant. This is an exciting week where we make the transition from the old to the new. And please stay with me. I'm going to give you a broad overview of what to expect, but then we'll dive deep for each of the 12 zodiac signs. Now this week sees Uranus very prominent in the sign of Taurus. It's forging an amazing link with the Sun and a challenging link to Saturn. Saturn's in the futuristic sign of Aquarius. So where we're realistic about the future, it will support us, particularly as it forges a very enabling link to Mars, the planet of passion, in the sign of Sagittarius, is about expansion. So if we're thinking about expansion but going through all the research and really taking things on a step-by-step basis, Saturn will reward us. If we try to rush things, Saturn's clash with Uranus will just stress us out. The big picture of this week is the collection of energy in the sign of Capricorn. But this does see Mercury going into its shadow period in this sign, and despite the fact that it does meet with Pluto, which could see us very analytical, I think a lot of people are going to be thinking about what their role in life is, what their goals are, their ambitions for the new year. So as we set that intention, all those resolutions, I think we're all going to be trying to keep our feet very much on the ground, which is a good thing. But Mercury's retrograde just says that as we make our way into the new year, things can alter quite quickly. So even the best laid plans need to be made, but with a mindfulness that flexibility is going to be important. And it could be other people that actually in some ways force our hand because of Mercury moving at the end of this week into the sign of the group Aquarius. So it may be a friend, somebody who we feel we can connect with in a collaborative way. Maybe their situation is going to change. So goal setting for ourselves, that's going to be straightforward, but where we have to link to others or rely on the support of others, that may be more complex. Also, Jupiter moves into one of its two home zones on Wednesday of Pisces. It's going to be moving through Pisces twice in 22, but also the sign of Aries twice as well. So that's really, really exciting. But this initial movement of Jupiter into Pisces also sees it link in a right angle to the North Node in the sector of communication. Jupiter in Pisces is very spiritual. It can see us, see the best in people and situations, but it also can be maybe a little bit too hopeful. So again, the theme is to be as realistic as possible. But the wonderful new moon in Capricorn at the end of this week and its link with Uranus just suggests that innovation, technology, new approaches to our lives in lots of different ways are going to be a massive theme throughout year 2022. Sometimes change is as good as a rest, but sometimes staying as we are just isn't an option. So when we're forced to make changes, that's a much more uncomfortable process. And that could be where the clash between Saturn and Uranus shows itself. But if we can be progressive, embrace new possibilities, try to think outside the box, we can make the most of this transition into this new year. Now please stay with me for your detailed zodiac sign, but if you've yet to order your year 2022 personal forecast, please see the link beneath this video. You can get 30% off and a character analysis, and don't worry, when you order it, I will give you 12 months full months from the time of that order, or if you still order just at the end of year 21, you will get the rest of that year free. Hello Sagittarius and welcome to your in-depth forecast for week commencing the 27th of December. As you make your way into the new year, there's a glorious opportunity for you to think outside the box in terms of how you attract income into your situation in this new year. That's because of the Sun's mesmerising link to Uranus. Uranus is a bit more of a pain in its right angle to Saturn, and that could point towards a little bit of stress. particularly if something needs to change, but the way it needs to change requires some learning, altering some approaches. And if you have been feeling quite tired in the run up to Christmas, if you can get some rest and good sleeps, that's going to be a positive thing to do in the face of Saturn square with Uranus. But Saturn actually forges a brilliant link with your ruler, with Mars, in your sign. And Mars in Sagittarius is very galvanizing. So where you're very energized about something, where you have a clear picture in your mind about how you're going to move forwards, Saturn and Mars complement each other in a very helpful way. Now Venus is going retrograde still, and Mercury goes into shadow in your second house of resources. This doesn't mean to say that money won't come in for you, or you won't decide to spend money on whatever you think is worth it. Good food and good wine can be particularly attractive to you with such a lot of second house in your situation. But I think it's more about your values. We do tend to think a lot about money and possessions and consumption, but the second house is very much about how we feel about ourselves, our self-worth. So that might be an area with Mercury connecting with Pluto. You may think a lot about your self-worth this week. And if you feel that other people do not hold you in the regard that you feel that they should do, then that might be something that you're going to want to use the drive of Mars and Saturn in their constructive link in order to project yourself forwards in a more dynamic way. But if you do end up enjoying yourself at times this week, why not? Uranus is in your sector of physical health, and that could mean that you could read an article, download a PDF that gives you some fresh ideas about how to approach diet and nutrition, which can actually be very, very positive for you. And as we make our way to the end of the week and Mercury moves into Aquarius, it's possible that you could plan something if it's possible to do so. You may plan some kind of journey. A connection could come about with someone, perhaps someone as a friend initially, but this connection could go on to become a bit more meaningful over the next few weeks. So it's an interesting week for you. There could be some stressy stuff there. Important to rest, important to enjoy the traditional features of this time of year. When it comes to business and money, just think around things a little bit more. I think it will be helpful to you. It's been a real pleasure being with you and wishing you a very happy new year.